Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
I forgot my neighbors are making noise. Hell of a start this morning, huh? Hell of a start. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. We've got a little bit of an early start going. I know I was scheduled at 9:30, but a family member and a matter came up, so I'm kind of pressed for time this morning a little bit. So we decided to start a little early. Thank you, everybody that decided to join. So far, there's 57 of you. Let me get this out of the way. If you guys could just do me a favor and hit the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it real fast. Let's get the ball rolling. Um, how's everybody doing? Good to see you. Hey, Rick, John, Joko, Brandon, Jeremy. Always good to see familiar faces in there in the chat. Uh, the topic of the day, as you could probably tell by the thumbnail, was going to be the rest of the individual up north a little bit from me, um, just for taking pictures of a squad car and possibly the computer screen. Um, so his name is Michael Luna. So I hope I'm pronouncing everything okay. Um, and we're going to get into that here in just a second. To anybody that's not familiar with what I'm talking about, how can you not be? Um, we can go ahead and just play a little bit here uh, as a uh, as a reminder of what we're here to talk about today. Let me go ahead and set that up. Michael, I see you waiting in the wings. Just bear with me while we get this intro going. We're going to go ahead and share a screen here. Share.
What? Oh my god.
So, to preface all this again, Michael and his family were going to a restaurant. They noticed police interacting with a homeless man, from what I got from Michael's email, and we'll have him explain in a little more detail. They were going to detain him because they thought that, or got word that he had gone after somebody with a stick or a bat, something to that effect. So they came to detain him and question him. And Michael, like most people would these days with any newsworthy event, pulled out his phone, and his family members did too, and they were recording everything. And then it gets to a point where, from what I gather, and we'll let Michael explain a little bit more, um, he took I believe, took a video clip or a picture Here, let me set this up a little better. Whoop, whoop. I took a picture or video clip of the patrol car, possibly the computer screen that they use to see what the call info detail was about. I've done that myself. I have. If the police don't want to tell you what's going on, sometimes you can get the call log information from the computer screen if the officer or deputy in this case doesn't shut it. Plain view doctrine, what you can see by looking inside the window, as long as you're not trying to break in, you can look at and read and take a picture of, shouldn't be an issue. But this female deputy, corporal, sergeant, I'm not sure exactly at this moment in time, saw what he was doing and decided to act this way.
Arrest him! Are you taking pictures of our car?
Now, at first, when I first saw this, I thought she said car. Are you taking pictures of our car? It doesn't sound like she says car. It sounds like she says call, C-A-L-L, which led me to believe that Michael had, saw Michael taking pictures of the inside of the squad car and was concerned that he was getting a picture of the call detail report, their computer screen, which he has a perfect right to do. Plain view doctrine. I mean, if he could see it, he should be able to take a picture of it, look at it, photograph it. It's not Michael's fault that if she left the information out there for the public to see. But that's what happens.
No, you're taking pictures of our car. Hold on.
So Michael was, from what I gather, he was arrested and taken to be checked out at a hospital, which pretty much did nothing for him, I guess. And they ended up taking him to the department or jail or whatever it was. We'll let him explain. And I guess released on a ticket for PC 148, which is the obstructing, resisting, or delaying a police officer in the performance of their duty. I've said this before. That's the same charge San Diego tried to get me for. That went nowhere in San Diego. For a lot of my longtime subscribers, when I was in San Diego, I was thrown to the ground when the cops pinned me up against a fence. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't touch me. And next thing I know, I'm being tripped up and put on the ground, which the ticket ended up disappearing. The San Diego Police Department didn't even file the ticket. They might have submitted it, but it went nowhere. So that case for me never even occurred. It just disappeared. They tried to make it disappear. So that code has a subsection, 148 subsection G, which the legislature enacted to protect media and the public just taking pictures in an area that they're allowed to be. And it pretty much what it says is that California PC 148A, the charge, does not apply to a person that's in a place they're legally allowed to be taking a picture or taking a video. That's simple. Yet they still charged Michael with this charge. So we're going to go ahead and get Michael in here. We're going to let him tell his story. I just want to take a moment. There's 89 of you in here. Thank you so much. Miles, I see you. Sean, the big walker. Good morning. Beautiful day to be in America. Yes, it is. And one more time, I'm going to sneak a little thing in here. And how about those Chiefs? You guys know I've been a Chiefs fan for a long, long, long time. So, all right. Michael, thank you so much for waiting in the wings there. Let's get you in here. How about a sound check? Say something.
Something.
I love it. I love it. All right, I hear you, so I assume everybody else hears you. How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
All
Thank you
things
for having
considered,
me on here.
doing well. All things considered, I bet. Thank you so much for coming on here. I wanted to give you a platform to just that video is that you sent me and sent to others. It seems to be gaining a little traction. I've actually sent it out to some other YouTube channels, trying to get them to do a little story on it. I believe, I don't know for sure, but I think Lackluster is going to do a little thing on it. I don't know when that's going to be published though. And he's got a huge following. So we're trying to get this out there. So why don't we start here? And like you said in your email, why don't you explain the events, what you were doing that led up to this whole thing?
Well, pretty much, my daughter had called me and said, "Hey, you want to go have lunch?" I said, "Yeah, that's fine." So there were four of us that were headed to the restaurant, and we had just parked. Then we heard, a bunch of sirens, and my son-in-law said, "I think there's a car chase," and so it started getting closer and closer to us. And then we see some, homeless guy pushing a cart. I didn't think it had anything to do with him. Then they came to a screeching halt. They start barking orders, and pretty much whatever they were saying, he was complying. But they kept like trying to escalate it, and I'm just like, that's when I'm like, okay, they're gonna do something to this guy. And this was just a couple of days before the Rose Parade. Like I said, it was in Pasadena, so usually there's tons of law enforcement patrolling because we get in Pasadena over 1 million people that come to watch the parade. So that's why there's so much law enforcement around there.
Gotcha.
And so then I did, I started recording. So did my daughter. There were a bunch of other people. And my background, I studied photojournalism. And so that's, my background. And I got a little closer because I'm like, hey, you got to get in there. But I was in the parking lot. There was a little fence, and I was behind it, a little,
The wall, a little
yeah, a
partition.
little wall partition. So I was about 20, 30 feet away from them. And then
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so then and you saw the footage where I was just recording, and then I got a little closer once they had him. And
Yeah,
then
can I interject there for a second?
yeah,
I noticed that on the first video I put out, it was a rush, so I kind of on the slim portrait view, I kind of stretched it so like some of my commenters said they looked like Oompa Loompas. But the second,
we looked
so
at
I edited and put out a second video, which is still gaining some traction now. It's getting a couple thousand views every hour this morning. I was able to actually stretch it out correctly using a program, so it's much better quality. But I noticed that there was a time when they were detaining the homeless guy, and you were getting a little close to the wall, and you can see the deputies come up and wave you like this, like back up, back up, back up. And it looks like after a moment you did back up.
I wasn't close. I zoomed in. So when you zoom in,
Yeah.
right in their face. But they don't like when you can hear. And it was when I told the guy, because I saw he was agitated, and just kind of like, letting them know, hey, I'm recording, so if they do anything stupid, because they look like they were just trying to, as usual, escalate things.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to make sure that nothing happened. And so then, yeah, they backed off, and you saw the rest of the video that I was shooting. They went, they took the stuff out of his pockets, put them in the car. Then I'm like, okay, this is over. So then I started heading back towards the restaurant. But, as I'm going back, Deputy Carlos is that crazy little, uh, deputy that was barking orders.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard a noise coming from the car, so I turned, and then I saw the computer screen, whatever. So, but as soon as it was just seconds, looking into the car, and then I hear, hey, arrest him.
Yeah.
So that was on my video, and it was also on my daughter's video. She was still facing them, and
That's a
they were telling me,
great
perfect
clip.
timing.
Great clip. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong when I say great clip, but it's just a ridiculous clip. I mean, for her to turn around and just see you recording or taking, even if you were taking a picture or video of the inside, not in the car, but from the outside, looking into the vehicle at the computer screen, again, like I said in the preface here, plain view doctrine, just like they can when they come up on a traffic stop. Anything that they can see could lead them to probable cause, reasonable suspicion, stuff like that. If it's visible, and it's up to them to secure the information. So if she didn't shut that computer screen, that's on her, or that's on whatever deputy's car that was.
Yeah, that was her car. That's why she got agitated, because it was a car that she came in. But yeah, so it was her car. This is why in the video you hear, I'm like, I knew, and I even said it, I don't know, multiple times. You guys are opening yourselves up to a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And like the sergeant, kept smiling, because they, for them it's like arrest, and they wanted right away trying to throw me in the car. Well, so conspire and figure out, what they were going to do, because most of them didn't know what was going on. I think they knew I didn't do anything wrong. She was the only, crazy one, because I was recording her car.
Yeah.
And then you kind of wonder what was in her car. I mean, did she have something illegal in her car, or was she hiding something, or who knows?
Same thing that they say to people when they ask if they can search your car, and you say, no, I'm going to stand on my rights. And they go, well, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? Why don't you want me to search?
Yeah, every single deputy that I spoke to, I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't there. Yeah. And then I look at the video, everyone that I talked to, I'm like, you were there. They were at the, because when it happens,
Yeah.
it just, everything's kind of crazy at the time. And I mean, you have experience. This is like the very first time I've watched you guys, do these stupid things for years. And I've been a subscriber of yours and seen all the craziness that they,
Two comments I want to highlight from people that always comment on my videos, and some of my diehard subscribers. One is back to blue until it happens to you. And there was another one which I can't remember right now, but that's the one that's sticking out. I mean, again, I'm going to say it. Me personally, I don't hate or dislike cops. I hate and dislike bad cops. And that leads into the second comment that I always see is, where are all the good cops? Where are the ones that are supposed to step up and in between her and you and say, wait, this guy didn't do anything wrong. Why are you ordering us or having us detain him and arrest him? Because he's protected by the First Amendment. He didn't go into your car. He took a picture. Where are the good cops that were supposed to be there and help you instead of just blindly following whatever she said?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, and you're 100% right, is that they don't. They usually will back one another. And then back to your point, because I keep seeing stuff, and I've heard people, officers say, I quit because of the corruption. I thought I was there to help people, and when they see all the craziness that they do, the corruption, they're like, I don't want to be a part of this. So they're quitting. They're quitting like crazy. So that's where the good cops are going. And it's sad, because they're the ones that are leaving. They should stay. The bad ones are still there. And this is where
they get pushed out.
Yeah, you guys do an amazing job. And that's, I have seen things have changed, like in the United Kingdom. What is it? Auditing Britain. And I remember when I first started watching him, and now, I mean, even the cops are just like, oh my God, you're AB, and you guys are making a huge change. I mean, things are, slowly getting better.
But I think that's like a misnomer, because once you're known and the word gets spread in a department, are they treating the photographer or videographer better because they know who they are? And would they treat somebody that they don't know differently? Is the reaction of the officer and the actions of the officer different than what a normal citizen would encounter. So I'm still skeptical on if things have really changed for the better. Maybe in the grand scheme of things they have, but I'm still suspicious that, like myself, I haven't really put out any videos of me going out doing any audits in my community for some time. I've just been focusing on repurposing news stories to get the word out there of officers that have misbehaved in the public's eye. But it got to a point, if I go pretty much anywhere in Orange County to do an audit, they're all passes because I am so well known. I walk down the street and I come across a couple officers, and I've literally heard one officer, maybe a new one for the area, say, "Hey, look at that guy," and I'll hear him say, "Oh, that's the Junkyard News." Oh, really? That's Junkyard? You know what I mean? It's like, so in my personal opinion, to well-known auditors, you can't really judge by the reaction the auditor gets all the time, especially if they're well-known, because I think it's kind of skews what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right that that is part of the case. But the fact that you guys are out there and watching them,
Yeah.
and it's the bad cops that are looking over their shoulders, like the criminals. They're no different, So it's these criminal officers that are, always looking over their shoulders. They hate transparency. That's why they'll say, you don't have to record. I'm recording. But when you try to get the footage, they don't want to release it. You have to struggle to get it.
And that's on the legislature, because they literally enabled that in the public records laws, especially here in California, where if they can deny the most recent change was if deadly force is used, then if somebody's shot, then in California they have to release it information like within 7 days or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But unless you're the victim of something that happens or the call was about you in California, good luck getting any of the dash cam or body cam. Most departments just claim an exemption under the California Public Records Act law that says, investigation notes, things of that do not have to be disclosed if the department doesn't wish it to be disclosed. So it's really up to getting the legislature to change or edit that law to make those type of public records more available. And you can blame the police unions for that, because they lobby hard to keep this stuff from the public eye most times. But we kind of got off base. Why don't we continue with the story here? So she runs up to you, and you get grabbed up, and you say, First Amendment auditor or First Amendment.
Like the very first time I decided to do it,
Me, I probably would have said media, but I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
Because
usually they kind of like, oh, he's an auditor, leave him alone.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I went there to have lunch. I didn't go there to coffee.
No, I believe you. I'm not putting you down or anything like
that.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm just saying.
I laughed. I did laugh a little bit when I saw that in the video. I'm like, oh, that was perfect. But,
they don't listen. They don't care.
They don't care.
They were amped up from attacking the other guy, the homeless guy.
Oh, they were amped up. They had to attack somebody, right?
Yeah, I mean, you heard them screaming, and and he's complying, but they're just they keep yelling and pointing their weapons at him, and I really felt, and especially when I saw the paramedics, I'm like, why are the paramedics there if nothing's happened? But I'm like, they're gonna shoot him. I just
No, yeah, you could hear the sirens when I was watching.
Yeah, so they were there. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, these guys have bad intentions, and like I said, it was just before the Rose Parade, so they try to get rid of the homeless. They try to get rid of the, for that, the undesirables, and but like I said, it was a sheriff's in Pasadena, so it's kind of like borderline where it's L.A. territory and Pasadena, so it's like right, kind of like borderline.
So they grab you up. They start wrenching your arms behind your back. You tell them you have some type of rotator cuff or shoulder injury.
Well, yeah, I had sustained an injury playing basketball a couple of days before. But when he was, grabbing my arm, and that's why in the video you heard me, I was telling my daughter, hey, his name is, I have it written down, B.A., deputy, Batres. I don't know how to pronounce that. Because I heard something pop in my shoulder.
Yeah.
You know how they do it. They have to. I'm an old guy, fat. You're very generous. I heard you say slightly overweight. I'm fat. And but
Well, I was going by. I was trying to critiquing your email you sent me. It's like
yeah, yeah.
being as nice as possible.
But yeah, so he did, and he popped it. It popped, and even in the video, you hear, me telling him, "You popped, my shoulder popped," and so it was an injury I didn't have, and and then it was, attached to where I had the pain over here, and
So he exasperated your injury, if that's the correct
well,
word.
I didn't have a sprained shoulder, so he did that.
Oh, he did the sprained shoulder.
Yeah, he's the one who did it, but obviously, Deputy Carlos, the crazy one with the hat,
Yeah.
the female deputy, the one that caused everything. You highlighted, hey, arrest him.
Yeah.
My family just laughs at that, and but yeah, so they kept wrenching my arm. They kept hurting me. So then they were going to talk to me. You saw they were trying to stuff me in the car right away. They didn't. You heard one of them say, "Yeah, we're going to talk to him," and nope, none of them wanted to talk to me. They didn't know what was going on. The only one that knew in her head was that Deputy Carlos. That I was.
I saw somebody with stripes there, a sergeant or whatever, eventually, and he looks like he's face to face talking to you. I mean, I'm surprised no supervisor stepped in and said, "This guy did nothing wrong."
Yeah, that's what I kept saying. What did I do? I mean, I knew I didn't do anything wrong, and I told them repeatedly, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just standing there. There was no crime committed. So everybody's like, "Well, you must have done something." Yeah, I recorded it. You record them. You know this.
Yeah.
They don't like it. I'm not saying all of them, and I'm 100% like what in agreement with you that you have the bad cops and you have the good ones, and the good ones don't have a problem with you recording. They're like, that's fine. They almost feel like they're you're protecting them, because I guarantee you, most people, if you see a criminal doing something to an officer, you're going to help.
Yeah.
So
that's a famous line in the Batusai's video, where, and I have the audio of I think it was the Court of Appeals in Texas, where the judge literally says, these independent people, these videos, they help the police more than they hurt the police.
definitely.
If anything, they become very important in the future, because they video the good cops, they catch the bad cops, and more importantly, they catch the bad guys. Those are words out of a judge's mouth.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I'm saying. So you guys, like I said, now this is going to be the beginning of what I'm going to do, get involved in all of this. So this is the first time I get arrested, and I'm hoping. That's why I reached out to you guys, Lackluster, a bunch of the other ones. Lackluster said that you'll probably have this story by the end of the week.
Yeah, he's got a huge following, so you should get a lot more
yeah,
traffic.
no, he's been amazing. I mean, I email him within a minute, he gets back to me, and I was just like blown away. It's weird seeing you guys, for years, and then this happened, and you guys just reached out. You especially,
Well, you got to get this. You got to get the attention to the case, because, I mean, if everything is the way it looks, my personal opinion, not legal advice, is this is going to get tossed. You know what I mean? This is going to get, unless they try to say that even though there was no crime she was detaining you for, well, they were going to detain you, even though she says arrest him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. She didn't say detain that guy, just arrest him.
Yeah, arrest him. She literally said, and I think a lot of courts have held that, especially if that word arrest comes out of an officer's mouth, some say, oh, detained, arrest, a detainment is an arrest, yeah, if it goes past a certain amount of time. But the words that came out of her mouth were arrest him. So,
And then what did she say right after that? Are you recording?
Yeah,
I think you said that she said call. I heard car, but
Yeah, it sounded to me at first I thought she said car too, but if when I reviewed it, and I always use my headphones so I don't bother other people in the household. It sounds more like she says call. Are you recording our call? Meaning the call log, the
Yeah,
computer
yeah.
screen, um, or taking pictures of our call. So, but again, even if you did that, plain view doctrine. I mean, you're not reaching that I know of. It doesn't show you actually in that position at that time from the from your family member's video. But I assume you weren't like sticking the camera through an open window
No,
or
you
anything like
saw
that.
the video. In the video, I don't. You didn't. You, I think you cut that part out where I was actually, And then I uploaded more um, footage. So just to let you know, I'll send you that link
Mm.
of the stuff that happened afterwards. And you see her saying that I was pushing the car, and when they huddle, when they huddle, they
Yeah.
try to figure out what they're gonna, conjure up, what charges they're gonna conjure up and stuff. So my son was down there. I don't know how he got in the mix with all of them, and but my kids were just like, they were there. You saw, and my daughter kept, they kept pushing her away.
Yeah. They put
And
up the tape.
the reason they put the tape up was because of my daughter, because
Oh, of course.
she was protecting her dad. You heard her saying,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you're not going to hurt him. She didn't know that he had popped my shoulder, but I was telling her, Deputy Batres is the one who injured my shoulder, and but yeah, so they did that, and then they said, are you hurt? They do that game, but they did injure me, and I said, yeah. And they're like, okay, good. The paramedics are here, and so then I started giving them my information, telling them what happened. And then you saw that my jacket was all twisted up. And I know from watching all the videos, once they handcuff you, they start transporting you, and they're going to release you. If you're uncomfortable or if you're in pain, they don't care.
Yeah.
They could care less. And I'm like, I'm going to be,
You're going to be in this position for a while. You
yeah,
come
well,
on,
I'm
make
good.
you
So
more
I'm like,
comfortable.
can I just take the jacket off? It was like I said, it wasn't on. It was just, already my back, and so then that one sergeant, I will give him credit, and I told him, thank you for allowing that. And you even heard in the video, thank you for
Well,
doing it.
you had to pretty much beg them for quite some time to do that before they
Yeah,
actually
yeah, exactly. Because I'm like, what am I doing? You have all these goons,
Yeah. Oh, we take the cuffs off and you're going to start swinging at us or something,
Yeah, and I told him, like, I'm 57 years old. I'm not going anywhere. It's like a bunch of you guys.
Yeah.
And so then, they finally did it. And but still, I'm chained like an animal. That's not. Hey, we're gonna find out. They don't care. They
When
just, yeah, go ahead.
when was the first time you realized or were told that you were going to get cited for the resisting, obstructing, and delaying charge? And I assume you got a ticket and when they released you or whatever. When was the first time you realized what you were being arrested for?
When I was in jail,
Yeah.
so they took me to the hospital because of the injury. I'm in the ambulance. I'm talking to one of the paramedics, and he's like, yeah, they're gonna do X-rays. They're gonna, he's telling me what they're gonna do. I said, okay, good. We get there, nothing's going on, and my shoulder was just in excruciating pain. I'm chained on both arms, and I said, can you please release this one? My shoulder is aching. And I even told one of them, short little Asian deputy, and she, I'm like, I'm in pain. You don't care? She said, I don't give a, I don't care. And
Yeah.
I said, are you recording? Because like, they don't. She was just angry. What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. So, and the funny thing is, so I'm there, and I'm like, okay, when am I going to get, the X-rays? Next thing I know, I hear, Michael, Luna, you're discharged. I'm like, how are you going to discharge me when you never saw me? You never did anything. I never got the X-ray. Never. And they said, well, you're discharged, and this is a cop. But I did talk to someone in the hospital saying that we can't do anything. It's the sheriffs that control everything. So from what I understand, they're the ones who told them there's nothing wrong with him. Just discharge him. This is what the hospital's saying.
And they gave you like an ibuprofen or something, you
Oh,
said?
no, I told him, I said, how are you going to discharge me? I'm in pain. And he goes, I'll give you an ibuprofen. You know, he was being a smartass. And this is a doctor at Arcadia, USC Arcadia. And, and so I'm just like, I'm in pain. You know what? I'm going to take that one pill. And the funny thing is, I got my bill from Arcadia, the hospital.
Yeah.
It's 2017 is what they charged me for the one pill.
And talking briefly with the doctor. you know why, in my opinion, I have an opinion on why they discharged you. Okay. And why the officers were wanting to get you out of there ASAP. My own opinion. Okay. Hypothetical. Okay. If this comes to a civil case, all right, attorneys base what they want to recover by tripling the amount of damages. If you would have had x-rays and a CAT scan and all these tests, that bill could run up to, a few $100,000. Triple that, and that just increases your possible future civil litigation, because whatever your doctor, whatever your visit to that hospital is for all the tests that they run, that's an attorney's going to triple that figure just for medical bills, not including pain and suffering, not including, attorney's fees and all that type of stuff. Just the medical. And the reason I say that is a lot of my longtime subscribers know that I got hit by a taxi crossing the road in a crosswalk. Okay. And that's the first thing my attorney told me is, what are your medical bills? Well, they kept me overnight at the hospital. They ran these tests. Here's my here's the bill from the invoice from the hospital. And he's like, okay, well, first off, we triple that. I'm like, triple it? Like, yeah, that's standard procedure. So I think the sheriff's department wanted to keep that bill as small as possible because they knew. I think at that moment they knew they shouldn't have messed with you. They knew they shouldn't have arrested you. And they were thinking down the line future. That's just an opinion I have.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. It was.
Okay.
It was. I mean, there were other patients in gurneys. There were. It was crowded. Like I said,
okay. They were busy.
Just before New Year's. It's funny because no matter where I turned, there was my son. There was my daughter. They were. They were looking out for me.
Yeah.
And my son was. He'll talk to the police and just what's going on. Because they kept saying we're just going to talk to him. We don't know what's going on. None of them knew what was going on. Just that one crazy deputy, Carlos, that female deputy that did it. So they're kind of like, they were trying to figure out, well, she said arrest him. He must have done something, but none of them could answer what I had done. None of them could answer, well, because you did it. None of them. But anyways, I don't think that was the case. They were in a rush. They didn't want to be there. And there were I don't know, that's, traditional, whatever,
I just threw that out
there
there.
are tons of sheriff deputies there. Why were they all there? Why did they need so many of them?
Maybe they just told, maybe they did, the hospital told them, like, we're so crowded, it's going to be a while before we can even see this guy.
Yeah, and they, because I did hear, I saw one of the videos that my daughter took where my son's talking to the sergeant. And he was kind of like almost laughing, saying, yeah, he said he broke his ribs. I never said that in the video. In the video it said, playing basketball, I got elbowed in the ribs. And she asked me, are they broken? I said, I don't know. I still needed to go.
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
A lot of pain with that. And but anyway, so I was when I was in the hospital, I kept saying, can you please take the cuffs off? I'm cuffed over here. What am I going to run with the gurney? They had me strapped. My feet were strapped, so I wasn't going to go anywhere. Just the pain was excruciating on my shoulder, and that one little Asian deputy, just was, no, we're not gonna do it. So then another, deputy came, and I asked him. So he was a higher ranking officer, like sheriff, whatever. And I said, I'm in a lot of pain. And he was about to. He goes, okay, I'll take that cuff off. And then that little crazy, Asian deputy. She's like, no, don't take the cuff off. And I don't know why he listened to her, because she was, his subordinate. He outranked her. I don't know. So this is some crazy stuff. And
Wow.
and then that's when I said, I started talking to him. What's going on? I don't know. No one knew what was going on. They were all trying to still figure out what had happened.
Why are we even here in this situation?
Yeah, because the sergeant said, well, we just wanted to find out. I'm like, well, if you want to find out, you don't keep someone, chained up to the gurney. Obviously he didn't know that they had, the other, it was a deputy Batres, Batres, had popped my shoulder. But he was just laughing like, as if it was no big deal. They're accustomed to this. They, arrest you, then ask questions, not the right way. But anyways, so then they did, when they took me to the sheriff's vehicle. He was nice enough. I think it was Deputy Nguyen, or I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Probably like Nguyen.
Yeah. So he was, very, understanding. And then he, I said, can you cuff me in the front? I'm injured, and he said, yeah, that's fine. So then they put the cuffs on the front, and I know they usually don't do that. Then they transported me, but I saw my son talking to the deputies there. They were, they kept lying to him. So one of them said that I had crossed the tape, the crime, what crime was committed. So they didn't put that up until my daughter was there filming me after I already had been cuffed.
There was no.
But they were lying, saying that I had crossed the crime scene tape. So that was one of the stories, that they were saying. But obviously I didn't get charged for that.
No.
So they were just kind of making up things as they went along.
They're trying to anything to cover their own butts,
Yeah. So then on the way to jail in Temple City, so it was really close from the hospital, and I was talking to that deputy, and he seemed scared because I'm like, you guys are opening up yourselves to a lawsuit. I did absolutely nothing wrong. I didn't even touch the vehicle. Like I said, you could see in the video, it's clear as day. They didn't do anything. And so then, I get to jail. They do the processing, the fingerprints, and they put me in the holding tank. And then another deputy came and had wanted me to sign a thing saying that I had committed these things. And I said, I'm not signing that. I didn't do that. I go, let me cross it out. You guys, this is wrong. He goes, no, don't do that. So because I refused to sign, admitting that I didn't do anything wrong. They wanted me to sign it. And then apparently my son was there, and they kept saying, your dad doesn't want to, we're trying to give him
cite and release.
So they lied. They didn't give me that one. They gave me a different one saying that I had committed.
Yeah, I would have said, fill it out. I don't want no forms. If you want me to cite and release me, fill out a traffic ticket type slip.
Yeah.
And I'll sign that I will appear in court.
Exactly. That wasn't the thing that they gave me. The one that they gave me said that I was admitting that I had done that. I'm like, I'm not doing that, And then that one deputy even said, you don't have to, we're still going to release you. We're going to release you because I guess they knew. I'm assuming those charges are a misdemeanor.
Yeah, it's in California, unless you physically injure somebody like bad, you pretty much in California nowadays, you pretty much have to almost beat somebody to death before you get arrested. Pretty much everything is a cite and release these days, especially if it doesn't happen, in the presence of a police officer or a deputy. But yeah, they've pretty much they've made just about everything cite and release. That's why it's so theft is so rampant, and assault and battery and all this stuff. You look at the auditors that do end up getting battered or something like that, and the cops come out and they do a report, and you end up seeing the guy not go, drive off in the car. They let him out. They have him sign a promise to appear, and everybody goes on their merry way. I mean, it takes a lot in California to actually take a trip to jail. So I was shocked that you ended up
Well, I
going
think the
going
thing
through the
was,
booking
I
problem
think the thing
process.
was they wanted to see what was on my phone.
Ah,
They wanted to see what was on my phone, and I found out just recently. I don't know if it's true that it's illegal for them to go through your phone without having a
a warrant.
warrant. They
Yes.
went through my phone. They went through my phone. I mean, my phone was just, I don't know what disgusting things they did with it. It was just crusty, and I have no idea, but they were going through my phone. The funny thing is, I didn't use my phone to record this stuff. So they went through my phone, and I think that's why I was in there so long, because they kept making up stories. Oh, well,
They were trying to find anything on your phone incriminating.
yeah, they're like your background, and I said, you guys are full of crap, because when you get pulled over and they run your name, within a minute they have all your. So they were pretending that, oh, no, well, it hasn't come back, and I'm just like, you guys are full of crap. I'm not stupid. But the funny thing is, so like I said, I didn't want to sign that paper, and they said that's fine. You're going to be released in a little bit. Then the watch commander came in, and the sergeant that was there, he goes, "We're going to record," and the whole time they hadn't read me my rights. And so I'm like, whatever. They're just screwing up. Time after time after time, and he comes in and he's trying to tell me things, and I said, he goes, "Are you okay with it not having an attorney?" And I said, "That's fine, because the only ones that committed a crime is you guys." And he just had this look like, I wish I could have recorded, because I go, "Can I have my phone so I can record you guys?" And then I started saying things, and the sergeant's kind of like, "Well, no, I go, you lied to me. You said I'm going to talk to you, and you just kind of let all this stuff happen." And so he had that scared look. The watch commander's like, "Well, did they do this?" Or just kind of trying to make me admit to something. I said, I did nothing wrong. The only ones that did something wrong were you guys. And then I said something. I cited one of I think the 148G. You guys are preventing me from recording. And then he's like, "How do you know that?" And then he starts telling the sergeant, "Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off." So
Yeah.
he knew, and I go, "You guys know you guys screwed up." He goes, "Yeah, we're gonna let you go. You're gonna go. Don't worry about it." But again, like I said, I don't know if they were going through my phone. They wanted to find something. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Anything. Anything.
So, like I said, they're just, they had said a little bit. You're going to, to me, a little bit is 15 minutes, and it was like hour was going after hour. And then the jailer, he was a jackass. So it's another one I'll be filing a complaint against. He goes, "You're going to be here till Tuesday." Because it was, like I said, the New Year's weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, the longer they keep me here, this lawsuit is going to get bigger and bigger. It's more, So I was calm, and then I kept asking them, "When are you guys release me? You guys told me I was going to be released." My son, I had called him up, and he was there waiting, because they told him, yeah, we're going to do the whole cite and release. But then they started lying to him, saying that I refused to sign the cite and release, and I said, they never gave it to me. They did, at that point.
Yeah.
Then I kept telling the jailer, I want to talk to somebody. Let me talk to the watch commander. Nope, you already had your opportunity. You refused to sign it, so you're going to be here till Tuesday. And I'm just like, I didn't refuse to sign that cite and release. I go, it was a different document. He goes, "I don't care. Just shut up." And then he would try to put me in another area, and I said, "No, I don't want to go over there. You put me in this other area, they're going to forget." And just, But anyway, then another sergeant came, and I go, "Who are you?" It was a whole different person. And he goes, "You need to do the cite and release." And I said, "I was never given that." He goes, "Okay, well, you need to do that. We have a detective that's going to come down. I don't know if that's standard, because we have a detective that is not here, but we called him from home. He's coming down to talk to you. And then, once your, I guess, record, or what do they call it? Your information, your background information."
Yeah.
He goes, "Once that's, comes back," he goes, "then you're free to go." And they did, then that was at Detective Katana. He came in and, asked me, "Are you okay? You want to do the thing?" And I said, "Yeah." Again, I told him, "You guys are the ones who committed the crime, not me." And I kept telling the other ones, I'm like, I'll wait and you give me the letter of apology, because I did nothing wrong. I mean, if that's not, evident that, that's what I was waiting for. You guys screwed up. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know that that homeless guy had been released. I
Yeah.
didn't know after I got it. But apparently to him they did. I mean, it's on. And my daughter has that on the video where they released him and actually apologized to him. We're sorry, and um, I didn't do anything. I'm like, I wanted my apology. Hey, we're sorry. This was a mistake, and we'll correct this. No,
You say that to an officer 9 times out of 10, they just laugh at you.
yeah, that's what the one sergeant was kind of laughing. He thought it was comical because he didn't get his shoulder injured. He didn't have get put in cuffs. He wasn't in pain. You're tortured. You have me chained to that gurney, and so it was extra long. With that, and but so then, like I said, with the detective Katana, the same thing. When I started telling him all the stuff, on my version of it, he had the same look that the watch commander and the sergeant, like, oh shit, we screwed up. And that's when he started, after he stopped recording, small talk and yeah. So, what are you gonna do now? And I said, I haven't eaten anything. We were gonna have lunch. That was gonna be my first meal. I'm big, so like I say, not a big deal. But I was starving. It was already 8 o'clock when the detective, started talking to me, and I said, I'm not gonna go eat. I'm gonna go to a hospital because I'm injured. And I'm definitely not gonna go to that crazy, Arcadia hospital that didn't they refused to to treat me.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, the watch commander said to release you as soon as we're finished. Release you right away, and that was pretty much it. So then I went and they're like, okay, sign this. This is just for your possessions. And so I signed it and made sure everything was there. My discharge paper from Arcadia, I wanted those papers. And so I told the jailer, you didn't give me my discharge papers from the hospital. And so, like I said, they had released me, right?
Yeah.
He goes, we have to lock you up to give you the papers. What? He goes, yeah. He goes, and I said, I've been released. He goes, I can't leave you here just wandering around. I said, well, let me go somewhere else. He goes, nope, we're going to have to lock you up. So it was kind of like they didn't want to give me the paperwork. They didn't want to give me, so I just said, you know what? I'm out of here. I'll get those from the hospital. I'm not going to, get locked up and then, play those games again. So.
Hell no. I'm free now. Next
Yeah.
time you're here for me, you're going to be hearing from my lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, my son was there and my daughter was there, and we went and got something to eat. I go, you know what? Let me go get something to eat real quick, and then we went straight to Huntington Hospital, Huntington Memorial, and I told them, and they said, yeah, what Arcadia did, the hospital was wrong. They're in violation of they can't refuse you service, and they did, So
Let's step back for a minute. One thing we skipped over, which I scoffed at. I actually chuckled is in your email you had made a comment that one of the deputies or sergeants or corporal at the jail or whatever made a comment like, you still hungry? You can go back to that restaurant.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That Detective Katana said, so you're going to go eat. It's still not too late. And I'm like, to go to that same restaurant. So obviously, he was trying to wasn't that big of a deal, and you just, it was a slight inconvenience, and
Oh boy, that's just ridiculous.
yeah.
All right, what? So you went. They released you, and you did go to the other hospital. What did they do for you at the other hospital?
Oh, they did the X-rays. The things that Arcadia didn't do, they did, and they're just like, you don't have anything broken, but you have a sprained, shoulder, and
Yeah, it could be soft tissue damage.
yeah. So they just said, you need to go, call your doctor, and you need to go see a specialist, and they gave me prescription, for the pain, and it was the sling, and that was pretty much it. So, but like I said, they did do what they were supposed to do. I mean, I was there in and out like in a couple of hours. So, but yeah, so I don't know if they're going to keep playing the game or if they're going to actually dismiss the charges or.
Well, you'll know. They could wait. They're going to be on damage control, in my opinion. This is not legal advice, of course. I'm not an attorney, but just from my history with cases, they're the one way to postpone a lawsuit is to get a conviction for something. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
so the if the DA doesn't drop it, if somebody leans on them, says we need something. We need this guy to plead to something, even if it's disorderly conduct or just something petty jaywalking, something. We got to get him on something. But in my opinion, again, not legal advice. It'll get dismissed. They'll try to bury it and it'll get dismissed. They may postpone it. They may postpone it for as long as possible. Because the longer that they can keep it drawn out is the longer it's going to take in normal cases, a lawsuit to be filed. There are attorneys out there that'll file a lawsuit before the case is dismissed.
Yeah, I've seen somewhere they settle before they even do it.
Yeah, but it's rare. The hard part is finding an attorney.
Yeah, I did. I've already contacted a couple of them. They said, "Oh, we'll get back to you." I'm still waiting to hear back from them. So then I'm like, that was plan A. Plan B was reach out to you guys, get this out there, especially the fact that I have video, because I know when people try to do a FOIA request for the video, that most of the time they don't want to give it. They don't want to give it out.
Especially in a case like this, they don't want anything. I do have one question though. It may be one of the links I haven't seen yet if you send it to me, but just so I'm understanding, you personally, before your arrest, you said when they searched your phone you weren't recording from your phone. Were you just looking in the car, or were you using some device to record?
No, I was recording.
You were recording
my phone.
Okay.
That you saw, that I sent. It's me recording with someone else's phone.
I got you. And I don't know if I've seen it yet, because I was going to go back and look through the email and the GoFundMe to try to find a link to your perspective, any video from you personally, because I posted videos, the videos of your daughter. I think you said it was your daughter. I posted her video, but do we have a view from your angle?
Yeah, that's the first one, the one that was actually horizontal.
Oh, okay.
When they're telling me to move back, that was me recording with someone else's phone.
I gotcha.
I do photography, but I'm used to using an actual camera. I record with a camera, not with a phone. Really old school. So I went up to I borrowed someone's phone at that time. So
I have to go look back at that, because when I was editing it, trying to get it out as fast as possible, I might have missed that part of your video, because I might have cut it off and switched to your daughter's angle.
Hers was when you hear, "Hey, arrest him." That was hers. Mine was I was up close and they're telling me to.
I want to go back and re-review that, because I would love to see the view of them running right at you, and you pointing this camera at them as they're running right at you.
I didn't get that because I was recording the car, and when I was recording the car, so she was behind me.
Oh,
that's when I heard her say, "Hey, arrest him," or whatever.
I got you.
That's when I caught that angle.
I got you. Charging you.
see with my, when I hit the phone that I had, that I was, recording the car for, seconds. I mean, just for seconds. And so the timing was perfect for her to see me,
Yeah,
recording.
I want to go back because I want to look for the footage of any video that you have or pictures that you have of the vehicle itself, because my subscribers would probably love to zoom in and dig and what's in her car that she doesn't want him to see. What's in her car? What's in her car? They want to look at that, probably look at that footage. And
Yeah, because like I said, so yeah, I'll send you the link. So I gotta put together a file of all the videos, so
okay,
then, she got where she was asking, what's her name? She's the one. In the video, you hear her saying that, she's the one who caused everything. Because of her, I was injured. This lady needs to be off the force. This lady definitely needs to be off the force. And the other guy that just, because there were tons of the deputies there, why do you need so many people? And they do it, they love to rough people up. And,
well, when's you said February, is it February 28th is
February
your
20, yeah, so a couple of weeks from now. But like I said, I don't know if I should reach out I'm supposed to go to Alhambra court. That's where they're going to be doing that. If I need to find out, because I've heard that sometimes you go and nobody shows up. They just kind of
yeah. You want to make
and
sure
I'm
you want to make sure you make all those dates though. Don't
No. That's where that stuff, starts. I just want to make sure, reach out and find what the heck is going on. Because the arraignment, from what I understand, they're just going to ask me guilty or not guilty. Right?
That's all. Yeah. So I mean, you don't
I
even
don't know
need.
if do I need an attorney for that? Because
You don't. You don't. If you're just going to plead not guilty, the only thing an attorney can do for you is at that stage is, but most DAs won't even want to talk about the case because it's just an arraignment. But a well-known attorney to the court may take the DA aside.
Don't they sometimes try to talk to you and say, "Hey, you know what? We'll drop these charges and just plead guilty to this and you don't have to pay anything."
Yeah,
they'll
try to. They're going to try to get you to plead to something, but again, not legal advice. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again to protect myself, of course. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, I would say, you know what, no comment, plead not guilty. And what I'm going to do is, I can't guarantee anything because I'm going to talk to an attorney that I know in here in Orange County, because he may have people that he knows in LA County. He's had some health issues. I don't know if he would take the case personally, because I think even just my orange jumpsuit case is being a strain on him right now. But
that's still going on.
Yeah, it's still going on. It's we got a pre-trial settlement conference scheduled in like a month. Everybody's still dragging their feet on this. But I mean, it's a possibility if how they stack the courts against you sometimes on what they will allow and what testimony they allow, what you can say and can't say in court in front of a jury or a judge if it's a bench trial. But as long as I don't get railroaded, I can't see that I'll get convicted of the charge. But anything's possible. I mean, the only reason that they are not dropping it is, my attorney told me, is because they want restitution. They want money for the officers that came out to talk to me. They want to reimburse the tax-paying community for the resources that they used, and I guess that they had to stop the court transportations back to jail to do head counts, all this stuff. When all I did was wear an outfit. I didn't talk to anybody or anything like that. So I mean,
called them up and you said that there was a criminal on the loose, and you did, you know, you
Yeah,
called-
not. Not.
yeah, so they make up things, you know, to
Yeah,
their
yeah.
advantage.
Oh,
That's ridiculous. You know,
It-
they
it
make a mistake. They
is.
want you to pay. You know,
I mean, if
Yeah,
I
they're
like,
crazy.
I've said it in other videos when I talk about my cases. If you know, if I wanted to wiggle on a tutu and go for a jog, hey, it's perfectly legal. Doesn't mean I'm crazy. It's just what I decided I want to wear to express myself that day. And the fact that if somebody calls on me, how is that my fault if I didn't give them a reason to, other than them seeing me out in public? If I'm not committing a crime, how is it my fault that somebody else made an assumption?
Yeah.
So we'll see we'll see what happens. You know, it's touchy. They really want, they want their pound of flesh from me. So it's all about money to them. If they can get me to have to pay restitution, that's
Yeah,
huge.
that's you know, that's frustrating. Is that, you know, we the citizens that pay all these taxes, you know, all for these lawsuits, and they use that money for proper training, you know, instead of, you know, what, billions of dollars in lawsuits.
Takes longer to learn how to cut hair than to be a cop.
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah. The beauticians get 1,600 hours, you know, and they get, you know, a fraction of that, and all they're taught is, you know, how to, you know, brutalize somebody, and they're pretty good at it.
Well, thanks for coming on and telling your story. I'm going to have to wrap this up here.
Yeah, and I just, you know, definitely wanted to thank you and all the other people that have been supporting me. The GoFundMe, some amazing people. We want to thank them. So
Yeah, I got that link. I got that link on the
yeah,
videos. And
yeah. There's really, so they're people, and you know, and there's a lot of like your viewers. The comments are just, you know, love the comments. They were all just, they just felt like it was, wait, what happened? And you know, you're the ones that know what's going on.
And you don't, like you said before, this was your first time you saw something, just like see something, say something. You saw something and wanted to record something that looked newsworthy. It's not like you have a YouTube channel where you go out and do cop watching or audits. You were just in the right place at the right time, decided to record, and this is what happened to you.
Yeah, I did it mainly because I wanted to protect that guy. It
Yeah.
made it look like they wanted to do something, and obviously there were a bunch of thugs, and you know the stuff that they were doing, and just, you know, they looked like they wanted to do something. They wanted to, you know, try to get him. And he's like, you know, put your hands up. His hands were up, but they kept screaming, you know, barking orders, and you know, that they're going to shoot him. They're going to do something to him. So that's why I was there, and I wanted to make sure that they saw me, kind of like recording them, not hiding, you know.
This whole thing is FUBAR. I don't see it going anywhere. I see that, my own personal opinions, I see this thing getting dismissed by the DA unless they get some type of pressure and fear of a lawsuit to drag it out as long as possible or try to get you to plea. Again, that's just an opinion, but
In the video, I forewarned them. You guys are going to open yourselves up to a lawsuit. I mean, I said it repeatedly.
oh, there's been a lot of commenters blowing up their Facebook, the main LA County Sheriff's Facebook page. If you go on there on your free time and look at their posts and then hit comments, and then switch it from relevant to, you know, all comments or newest comments, people are flooding their Facebook page with links to the videos and comments. I mean, this has really touched a lot of people, and a lot of people just on the view of it, you know, this was wrong that they treated this guy like this just for, you know, taking a picture or recording out in public of a newsworthy event. And who cares? It's not your car, deputy. It's the people's car.
Yeah, it's our car. It's everybody's car. But, you know, again, I wasn't doing, like you said, the plain view doctrine. You know, just, but what applies to them, they don't want it to apply to everybody else. You know. And but yeah, again, thank you for having me, and you know, for sharing my story. And this needs to end. You know, we gotta, you know,
Don't sweat it. They're going to try to make you sweat it, but I see this going nowhere as far as on the criminal side. But we'll have to play it out, and
I'll be sending you the videos. I'll be sending you the file of the other stuff. So there's other stuff that you want to put on there, and
okay.
You know,
All right.
like I said,
Make sure you keep us updated if anybody reaches out
Yeah,
to you.
I'll start my channel. I'm gonna start my, you know, police accountability channel because
Go
of
for
this.
it. Once you get that started and you get your videos uploaded on it, send me the link to your channel. I'll make sure I make a community post about it and try to get people over there that want to keep up on this story. That way you can update people. And
Yeah, and I'll obviously let you know. You know, so again, I appreciate all your help. You guys are awesome, really awesome. So,
once again, back to blue until it happens to you, right?
exactly, exactly.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll touch base again. Okay.
It sounds good.
All right. Peace, man. That's it. We got to wrap this up. Thank you to everybody that decided to join in and listen to the interview and his Michael's story. I appreciate it. Definitely, he does have a GoFund in case he needs to, make a down payment to an attorney, for this criminal case. I don't see it going anywhere, but again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney, but I can just speak from my own experience with California PC 148 out of San Diego. They buried that case, my case. They didn't even file it, so it just disappeared. Nobody, when I tried to get an update on it, on my case out of San Diego, nobody knew what I was talking about. I gave them the ticket number, the citation number, and we can't find any record of that. So we'll see what happens in Michael's case. Definitely appreciate him coming out, and I appreciate you all viewing. When he does get his channel going, I hope everybody decides to keep updates, watch his updates on this case, because I am intently waiting updates in the future, but it's going to take some time. Thank you all again for tuning in. All right. Junkyard News. Peace and hair grease.